Hello, it's Clayton Rebar here, and I am going to analyze a short film for you today called Johnny Express. Now, this is about the sixth or seventh time I've done this because I keep having a problem with saving it. Hopefully, this time it works. If I sound a little distressed or upset during this analysis, please forgive me. Alright, so the first thing we start off with is the small stars. You see the small stars? They're small stars. Um, that's kind of important because this whole video, this whole movie, is a bit of a conflict about the small and the big. You see this large spaceship coming onto the scene. Yeah. So yes, notice a large spaceship, notice the small stars. Notice also the spaceship isn't imposing exactly when it comes onto the screen. I mean, in terms of size, it is, but the overall aesthetic of it isn't angular and it isn't aggressive. It's round, it's curvilinear, it's very, I don't know, whimsical, free, um, light. Now, looking further into that curvilinear aspect of the spaceship, and then you see the comparison with the curvilinear aspect of the delivery man. His suit is round, his chair or beanbag is round, his room is round, his fridge is round, his room is also a mess. You can kind of get of a sense between the mess and the linear motif that this is a very light, um, or I guess carefree individual. Little thing to notice, I'm not sure how important it is. Maybe it's just a little little flair for the animators, but the movement of the Roomba and the movement of the joysticks, both automated, mirror each other. And one thing I want to point out now, because I'm going to be shouting it out throughout the rest of the analysis, is the rule of thirds. Our attention is drawn, as we learned, to the imaginary lines. If you were to draw two lines vertical and two lines horizontal, they would section off the screen into three pieces, or nine pieces, I guess, and three pieces vertically, three pieces horizontally. Our attention is drawn to the intersections of those lines. This planet right now is almost on a rule of third line, and it will grow in size, capturing our attention even further. Rule of thirds. Alright, a lot of complex movement right there, but you notice the only thing the spaceman had to do was hit a button. So it gives you a sense of while he may be the number one delivery man in the universe, so says his award, he has only clicked one button in order to get to this planet. Everything else is done by computer. I'm not sure exactly what that does narrative-wise. I think it might just give you a sense that this guy is a very oblivious individual. Doesn't even move himself really. Rule of thirds. And he moves over to the next rule of thirds. Juice. Rule of thirds. Rule of thirds. So like I said before, a lot of the conflict in this short film is based on size. Uh, with the spaceship and the stars to set up the thing, this really draws the conflict to your attention, you get this small package between these pincers, and there is a package in there, framed around his head, and that kind of shows you his attention being drawn via the virtual line and the straw into the small package, which is going to be his conflict, the smallness of everything. And then I guess vice versa, you don't know this yet, but you'll find out soon enough, the small versus the big also. So it's him being big versus small, and then the people trying to get the package, or hopefully getting the package, is small versus big. So right here, pay attention to how there's this flat limited space of the Doritos and the Fritos and the storefront, allowing you to focus your attention on the little purple person. And also notice how the lines of everything else is pointing towards the background, the lines of the awning, the lines of the sidewalk, the lines of the newspaper, everything is pointing to the distance. Virtual lines of the cars and the traffic, virtual lines of the people. Also, the virtual line of his eye towards this eye will gain our attention, drawing us, this personal struggle, whatever his life is doing, is now involved with this struggle, and now he's going to take all of it and bring it back to the background because we don't know quite what's going on yet. Even now, we can't really tell what's going on. But with the plane crash, we get a sense, something big has approached the city and it's disrupting and causing chaos. So now through zooming out and finding or leaving the one linear direction of, into the background and having a grid, we get a sense of how big exactly that person is in relation to their environment, and also we get a sense by the way their voice kind of gets drowned out. I think that's the Gestalt principle. I may be wrong. I'm just trying to quote things kind of to make it sound like I know what I'm talking about, because I know a little bit, but I don't know that much. So yes, we get the zooming out, we get the grid effect, we get a place or sense of place and relationship to the environment of the small person, and then we also get a sense of the relationship of the environment to the big person, which is the spaceman. Another thing to notice is the similarity in body composition, I guess. They both have, very rounded bodies and also one big, eye or one big visual portal. So it kind of gives you a sense of similarities, yet stark differences. So now when you look at the Little People's World, notice how there's a lot of diagonal going on. That kind of gives you a sense of movement, a little bit of franticness. Um, this diagonal is going to be mirrored a few times in the subsequent shots. Um, Pay attention to that. There it is again, and again, and even when his foot comes down in this next frame, you'll see how it is mirrored. More diagonals, we get the TV antenna, the staircase, also the size of the people in the pictures, drawing your attention primarily to this guy because he dies. I also like this scene a lot because who hasn't been in traffic and wanting everything to just, get out of your way so you can have an open road. Um, and then this actually happens to some guy. He's probably wishing it, and I don't know, gives you a sense that there's a silver lining in everything. Diagonal of the plane. He's on a rule of thirds. Gives you a sense of action with the pilots and everything moving, and gives you a sense to look at something. So the animators do a really good job of not only having diagonal and horizontal and vertical lines, but also balancing out with the curvilinear aspects. They really mix it up a lot and giving you a lot, your eye and your brain a lot to look at, kind of giving you a more of a invested, leaning in, kind of trying to put the picture together in your head, or the narrative. So if you notice there, he started on this side of the screen, on this rule of thirds, moved over to this rule of third, and then tossed his can back to that rule of third. Okay, so I'm going to let this scene play out, but things to watch. The can is going to get steeper in angles. The shadow of the can is going to get larger in presence on the screen. The linear aspect of the environment is all pointing towards the can, kind of drawing your attention towards it in terms of, the lines on the street, lines on the sidewalk, lines on the awning. Now the guy is going to go for a bicycle. He's going to be large in the screen, and then he's going to diminish in the screen. You'll see his sense of power and his go down, his sense of vulnerability go up as the shadow overtakes him, and the sharpness of the angle between the can and the street gets a little tighter. He's big now. Look at his size in comparison. Now he's smaller. Shadow's getting bigger. Angle's getting steeper. Covered by the shadow now. Look how sharp that angle is. Ironically, trips over a can, about to be killed by a can. Sorry, I gotta keep playing, I don't have much time left. Look at the angle of his eyeball, look at the angle of the can, and look at how this eye is gonna match up with this, and this matches up with his mouth. Kicks the can at an angle into space. More diagonals showing, movement. And he is 90 degrees. He is vertical and horizontal. He is not moving. He is nonchalant. Okay, I'm going to talk over this last piece because I can only record for 15 minutes on this app. But if you notice how he moved from left to right from failure to completion. Also, in this next scene, there's going to be rule of thirds, separating of bodies. You think it's resolved? Nope. Explosion, death, destruction. Alright, back to the right to left I was just talking about. When the big man is winning, or when the big man is the main character, he is moving right to left, or left to right, sorry. And when the small person is the main character, everything is right to left. Now you notice the guy, the big guy throughout the whole thing, whenever he is the main character causing destruction, it's left to right movement. Whenever the small people are getting destroyed, or when he is running away, this guy right here running away from the can, it's right to left. Now we get right to left movement of him being the only survivor, so I guess his story matching up with the left to right movement of the man's story. Also, the big man only walked around the planet left to right. And mission is complete. Alright guys, only got 10 seconds left because this app sucks. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit. Hope I get a good grade. Have a great day. Love you all.